Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Two Men in Black and White, an honest conversation. I'm joined by my partner, Brock Ganellis, high atop the Hudson River Valley, just outside New York City. Brock, again, an atrocious Friday for Donald Trump and his minions. You know, everyone with in his cabinet seems to be lockstep when it comes to the lying, the corruption, the stealing, the out and out bullying, and quite frankly, the mean and just disgusting hatred for mankind other than those who look like them. And that's the problem for me. The sheer hatred, the sheer just they don't even care about the victims of this Epstein, sex trafficking ring. They're not even talking about the victims. Trump speaks about them as if they were property that was stolen from Mar-a-Lago. I mean, it really is disgusting. And this guy, in no way represents anything close to the type of leader that this country deserves.
So you don't think we have the leadership we deserve? Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Maybe we're getting right. Maybe this is where toxic selfishness leads you to. It leads you to electing leadership that serves a small percentage versus the others. Yeah, the lack of caring in order to be in power is kind of astounding, but you look through history, it's not that out of the ordinary, right? Of what people are willing to do to be in the proximity of power, and certainly anyone to keep your job, to be in the Trump administration to begin with, and to keep your job, they all know what they have to do. They have to really be, in essence, as bad as him because he's watching all the time. So they swallow maybe whatever moral compass they had, and they just play the Trump game. Lying is okay. It's like it's very Machiavellian, right? The ends justify the means in the end. Like it's really a power play. So the Epstein victims are no different, are just lumped in there with the people of color that are, you see what's going on in Alligator Alcatraz, where apparently there's just like ambulances coming in and out of there. So I guess there's a hunger strike going on, but we know the conditions are horrendous. And you have to just decide you don't care about the well-being of certain people or almost any people because you're either benefiting personally or you're trying to create an America in an image that befits what you think it should be. Therefore, everyone else is in essence a casualty of, oh, by the way, this culture war. It's a fucking culture war. So I don't want to hear anyone saying you can't fight the culture wars and, you got to stay away from that kitchen table, this kitchen table, that. This is the mother of all culture wars. America's losing it.
And speaking of the culture wars, we talk about culture when it comes to building successful athletic teams. The Baltimore Ravens have been on the cusp of greatness since they've had Lamar Jackson in place. I mean, he's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And now their head coach comes out as an ardent Trump supporter and talked about how wonderful it was to meet President Trump and what a wonderful man he is. And I just wonder how you think that plays in a locker room full of probably 75% African-American men, not to mention, a front office that's got a lot of diversity in it. I mean, I hate to speak, even about the NFL because we know what they are. The 32 owners, we know what they are.
Old, I would just management. Yeah. It's a reflection of the ownership. I mean, to me, the NFL is the worst of America, of which the labor is just disposable, mostly people of color, and the management is all white. To me, the NFL is such a white supremacy league. That's why when they, suppressed Colin Kaepernick, it was such a loss for America. So it doesn't surprise me when an NFL coach, one of the 31 out of 30 out of 32 that's a white coach coaching all black players, is a Trump fan. But the tone deafness to not understand that most of the people in that locker room are like, dude, like Donald Trump would like throw them in a fucking concentration camp if he could get away with it. You know, has
Sure.
no caring about them. So to me, that's just like a leadership fail. And I hope it breaks apart the Ravens locker room. So fuck the
Absolutely.
Ravens. Sorry. You
Absolutely.
know, I mean,
And, you know, and
Lamar Jackson should like fucking walk. I'd like to see him walk out of camp tomorrow, tell the ownership he ain't playing for this coach.
right.
Then what would
That's
happen?
what they need.
The NFL would explode if shit like
Yep.
that started happening.
Right. And that's what they need. But these guys, they don't have guaranteed contracts, so they don't have the guaranteed money. And,
Only the
they're
quarterbacks do. But still, I
again,
get it. He's not going to give up, whatever, $200 million. But I'm waiting for someone to do it. I mean, this gets me on the topic of also who do we admire? Who do we fall behind? Who's going to lead? Who's going to be the great men and women of this era? And those are the ones that are going to do something extraordinary. And Lamar Jackson would be like a Muhammad Ali if he did something like that. So it would hurt his career, but
he would be an historical figure.
Yeah, he would make himself a historical figure.
Right, crossing into the lexicon away from sport. And here's the other thing too: you're in Baltimore, one of the blackest cities in America, and that's what you're offering, right? Trump is a great guy. After the things that he said about the city of Baltimore, about the leadership in Baltimore, and this guy, Bruce Pearl is another one. The head basketball coach at Auburn, taking shots at President Obama, talking about, everything was in black and white when it came to Obama. He's such a great orator, but all he did was divide us. Really? If I've got a black player, if I've got a black child that was looking at going to Auburn,
no fucking way goes there. Yeah, those guys should leave in a heartbeat. Look, we're gonna need this kind of quote intolerance. Of the many to the few in power who think they can who think they can step in line. Because what I would hope would happen to John Harbaugh, I hadn't seen the quote that he said he was a Trump fan, because I'm sure Jim Harbaugh is. I would hope that in press conferences be like, John, please expound on this a bit more. What is it about Donald Trump's philosophy and Donald Trump as a leader and what Donald Trump is doing that you specifically are supporting? And how does that leadership correlate to how you're going to coach this football team? And I want to hear him talk about what he sees out of Donald Trump that he thinks is good is good in terms of how the direction things are going for all the people in the room. Like, is he actually thinking about the people in the room? Can't see it.
Yeah, or tell us, what traits of Donald Trump's leadership, can you utilize when it comes to coaching the Baltimore Ravens? Why don't you answer that for us there, Johnny boy? I mean, again, you hit the nail on the head when you said tone deafness. It's like they don't look.
They don't care. You keep thinking that what America is interested in the success of Black America. John Harbaugh, he's interested in the success of Lamar Jackson as the quarterback of his team, for what Lamar Jackson can do for him and his success. He obviously doesn't care about Lamar Jackson, the human being, and Lamar Jackson's family and what's going on around him in society. He needs him on the football field winning games. And that's fucking it. Jerry Jones. You could go through the whole. I mean, the NFL is the most racist organization, but at least the NFL stopped lying about giving a shit about DEI and racism and all that stuff, and they stopped pretending to play this game. At least they stopped doing that. Thankfully.
Right. Now,
but when is America going to turn on the NFL? Like, what are those black Baltimore fans thinking? Like, this is our guy. He's been there like 18 years too. Like, Like, who's going to say something? In the NFL, you're supposed to stay quiet, right? Shut up and dribble. Just, toe the line. You're just a soldier, right? You're a high
Right.
paid soldier. And
You know,
you'll be a casualty at some point. You'll get CTE like that shooter talked about when he went into the NFL offices. They don't care.
right, right.
They don't care.
And
White America does not care about Black America. I'm sorry that you that
I heard you.
that your conversations with me are so negative, but it's just crystal clear. And Donald Trump has just announced it with a megaphone. And anyone, he's the Pied Piper, and anyone who walks in lockstep behind him has told you exactly who they are and what matters to them.
To them. Yep. And here's
And
another one though, Brock. Let me throw this one at you. It's a little bit of a curveball. Lawrence Taylor signing up to
I
serve
saw
in
it.
Trump's administration.
I saw him yesterday.
He says he doesn't know what he's going to be doing or what he's supposed to be doing, but he's here to serve for as long as he can. What is Donald Trump offering you? Well, he's probably butt naked broke, and
Yeah,
so whatever Trump can
limelight,
pay him.
fame,
Yeah,
adulation, getting back into the mainstream. I mean, Lawrence Taylor's got
right,
himself into a lot of trouble.
right.
But I don't understand. I literally, Mark, I just do not understand black people that support Donald Trump. I
I
just
don't
don't
get
get
it
it. It's
either.
like, show me the Jews that supported Hitler. Like,
Right,
okay, I do not get it. When somebody tells you that they don't give a fuck about you or your entire, like, race or culture,
right.
how, like, what exactly are you supporting? Like, I don't
Yep,
understand the psychology of that support. In fact, I don't know how you don't immediately move into enemy mode and say, like, I
right,
need to defeat this guy. This guy literally wants me to have a shorter lifespan. This guy
right,
literally wants me to live a worse life, quality of life, and
right.
he's in a leadership position. Like, well, I don't know how people reconcile it.
I don't get it either, but I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand Black MAGA. I never will. You can't convince me that there's a good reason to support Donald Trump about anything. We thought he was a clown back in the 80s before he
Yeah,
even talked about
yeah,
politics. So, the fact that you're coming around, talking to all these Black MAGA folks, and again, there aren't that many, but,
yeah. There can't be many left.
yeah. And to me, you might as well be Black MAGA if you stayed home and didn't vote for Kamala, right? You might as well be, right? Because every vote that stayed home was a vote that cost her the election, right? With all the people that sat it out. And I was shocked to find the numbers were very, very high for the 24 election. After her losing by a whisker, it's problematic. So if you sat
Well,
this
look,
one out, you might as well have been Black MAGA.
well, I mean, the other community that's got to just be doing a serious gut check is like the Muslim American community, right? That had that we're not going
Oh,
to vote for anyone,
absolutely.
hold out the vote, lesser of two evils, and yeah, I understand that they could have been unhappy with Biden's support of Netanyahu and that the bombing was going on. Totally can understand that position, right? Even if you're taking the other side and saying it was justified, like, you can understand the position and the frustration and the anger of feeling that that was a disproportionate response by Israel, and why are we giving them advanced weaponry just so they can go in and bomb and kill what you think are innocent people in Gaza? Absolutely
Right.
debatable point. We should have been
Get
arguing
it.
that to the hilt. But okay, look what we fucking have now. Now you have people that are
Yes.
starving to death. Like,
Yep.
now it's a absolute fucking disaster area, and it's maybe one of the worst places on earth with
Right now.
few
Yep.
to any signs of improvement and recovery, and kind of that. So hopefully the Muslim American community now is seeing, hey, there is a difference between the candidates and the policies and the outlook. I'm hoping
Yep.
that we get there. I'm looking for the unified opposition, right? So we're trying to get
Right.
everybody in lockstep. And okay, we're not going to get a bunch of white NFL coaches because they still see the world in a certain way where they're decision makers, and other people are the employees,
Paul,
right? The
right.
labor.
They're pawns, you
Yeah.
know, in the
Some
big
of them are
scheme
high
of things.
priced. Some of them have longer careers than others. Some of them, get
Right.
paid a lot of money. But at the end of the day, they have no control. Like
No.
they're the
No,
They're the foot
and you live a
soldiers.
good life, but ultimately, there's still no minority ownership in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
There's no black teams owned by. I mean, I guess you could say Khan down in Jacksonville, but he considers himself to be one of the good old boys. So, he does business just like they do.
Just like
So,
there's not
you
much
know,
there's not much black management in corporate America, right? At the
right,
big Fortune 500 companies, there's very few in the boardrooms, right?
yep,
Like, it's kind of obvious who manages and runs America. And I mean, they're just showing us who they are.
right,
Most of them are quiet, and some of them are, vocal Trump supporters. I mean, to
right,
them, I guess a tax cut is more important than freedom and liberty, right? And then
yep,
democracy, than, fairness, than any element of equality.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, buddy, my battery's running low. I'm gonna get some rest. We can rack it up and do it again tomorrow.
All
And
right, Mark. Yeah, get home safe. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
all right, sounds good, buddy.
Okay.
Talk ya.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Ooh,